Hi guys, my name is Sarah, and I was a national delegate for Bernie Sanders back in 2016. I have a lot of friends and family who have come to me with their questions, comments, concerns regarding Bernie Sanders or these hot topic subjects that we're all hearing right now during this campaign season. And I thought, since there's so many similarities around what people are asking about, why not create a few videos and engage a conversation around these things? And then maybe what I have to say might resonate with some of you out there. Maybe you are sitting on the fence and unsure who is your candidate of choice yet. And, maybe if anything I have to say today might help you through that, that's what I'm here for. So today I want to talk about this word, socialism, this big trigger word. It is fascinating to hear the conversations that are being had around this term socialism. Now, I will preface for myself my own personal story and how how I am influenced by this idea of socialism. So, my dad lives in Germany with my sisters. My dad has lived in Germany for pretty much my whole life, and I consider him German because he actually dreams in German. He is like, English has become his second language, even though he's from Detroit, Michigan. But he lives in Germany, and me living here in America and having my own experience here, and then seeing how they live in Germany, which used to be a socialist government, but is a capitalist free market society, but has a lot of social policy and infrastructure that one would call socialism in place. And the difference where it matters is pretty amazing. So my dad right now is healing. He's on a healing journey from stage 4 metastatic prostate cancer. And I will preface with, he's doing really well today, which is extraordinary. But I know I have a really deep feeling that if my father lived here in America, he might be dead today. One, because he is a business owner. He owned his own business. My dad is a chef. He owned a restaurant and bed and breakfast. He's a Michelin star chef. Makes really good food, you guys. But he had to close down his restaurant when he got sick. And to see him having to go through treatment, he's had many stays in the hospital. He's been on an exorbitant amount of prescriptions, of medications. And in all of that, he hasn't had to pay almost nothing to be taken care of while he is going through treatment and healing from cancer. That has been extraordinary to see and to have some witness of. There's also my sisters, who have gone through their education, and they don't have to worry about being under the weight, and I'm talking weight here, of student loan debt that we have to deal with here in America. Me being one of them. I went to a private school, and there was no voices that were like, start in community college first, Sarah, and save some money. No, I went private all the way. And I have the student loan debt, as a representation of that quality education I got. And to know how many of us are living in this country under the constraints of that kind of debt the ways we are unable to participate in the ways we would like to because of the amount of debt that we are carrying. That is a stark difference than, my family who lives in Germany is amazing. So I maybe have more of a biased lens towards being like, I'm really good with social policy. I think it's a great thing to put in place. Now, when I hear socialism and the deep concern and the voices that get weighted with lots of, fear and concern, is that people are comparing socialism really to what sounds like communism. And communism, a completely authoritarian style of governing, of which, the sole leadership controls and disseminates by their own will, finances and resources. Has literally, the people they don't have any control over that. And that is hugely detrimental. That is not socialism. When we also think about socialism, we could Eastern Germany. I have a really good friend. She grew up in Eastern Germany. I've heard her accounts of just horrific things that she had to endure living under a authoritarian socialistic environment. And that is, again, detrimental because here we have this, governing structure of socialism with an authoritarian style in which, again, leadership controls those resources and finances, controls the money and the economy, and people's lives are at stake, right? But what we're talking about here when it comes to democratic socialism or social democracy, that is not the same thing. Of course, we live in America where we are a capitalist society and we have a free market, although I question how free this market is. And that is the root of who we are as Americans. I don't see that going away. That's who we are. That's the American mindset, upward mobility, the ability to create opportunity for entrepreneurs out there who want to start a business, who want to build their empire. All this, terminology that we millennials like to say and use. Can I build my empire? We want that opportunity for our friends, our families, our children, our communities. That's what we want, is real opportunity to be able to engage the system. We are seeing the way that things are not working here, how things have broken down over time, and that under this veil of capitalism that is under-regulated right now, we see that it's not working, and the more regulations that have been stripped away from all these corporations to give them the freedom to do whatever they want practically. If they could put a price on the air we breathe every day, I'm sure they would do that. We need some reform. We need some restructure here. Capitalism gone rampant here is not helping. And we can see that it's not helping because of the saturation of wealth in the top 1% and the poverty line that keeps increasing for the 99%. It is fascinating to see where we are and to still hear voices that are, in defense of and protecting what exists right now. Wealthy people deserve to get ahead. Of course they deserve to get ahead, along with everybody else, right? Not for the sake of other people's lives, because it makes them richer. The saturation rate that is happening here in America, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, and it doesn't serve our community as a whole. It really doesn't. And we need some change in that area. And that's where democratic socialism comes in, because I like to, if we look at democratic socialism, really it being social democracy, I feel like the New Deal is really exemplary of what this is. So if you look at FDR's New Deal, he was considered the second Bill of Rights, of which every American, it is their right to have employment, to have quality, affordable housing, to have health care, for crying out loud, to have economic protection during challenging times like unemployment, disease and illness and sicknesses, retirement. So we're talking about social security, welfare, disability. We need these sort of things in place. It is a right. It is a right that every citizen should have. A good education, quality education, access to education. It becomes inaccessible when money is at stake, right? The gobs of debt that we have to deal with in order to get a quality education that should be a right and should be accessible to all people. And then, flipping the coin, or, the 2.0 version of that being the Green New Deal, which now dealing with all the different climate issues that we have, not only in our nation. I mean, we're seeing all the hurricanes and things that are happening on the coasts here of America, but globally, and seeing how we're connected to the global impact of climate change is so critical. Nothing we do here matters if we don't have an environment that sustains us to be able to do and live, right? So, including that as being a right for every American to have 100% renewable energy, to be moving in that direction, to protect not only our country, but also to protect our world. And then to have resource efficiency. So where we have access to quality water and air, nature, our environment, food, quality food, sustainable agriculture practices, food that's not killing us, right? That should be a right, not a privilege. And these things have become a privilege in our society, and that needs to change. And then the prevention of monopolies, because what we have here with capitalism run rampant without without many measures of control, the more it's deregulated, is we're seeing now the impacts of that on our communities, on our environments, these monopolies that are taking over, that are shutting down small businesses across this country, that are putting the livelihoods of families in our country at stake because of these giant monopolies, because there is not room. We don't truly have a free market where there is opportunity for every person to engage, if that's what they so choose to, in business, is becoming harder these days. And then especially on a global level, when we think about our global economy. And we also think about automation. These things are crucial and critical that we find solutions around them and ways to support our citizens. That is democratic socialism. A really good friend of mine, Lauren, she brought this to my attention, which is something I had not thought about before, in that America in its conception, like, we're still a baby if we really think about it. We're still a baby in our growth, in the development of our system, of our policies, government working in tandem with its citizens. We're sort of a baby still. If we look at these other developed countries who have been working through these issues and these things much longer, but what we can see is more of them have put in place this social democracy structure, or they've implemented social policies in order to create a foundation for its citizens that offers a bit more equity and equality in the system, right? We're seeing that across the board in these other developed countries. And the fact that they have a lot of these things that I've already listed here from our Green New Deal already put in place, but we are the one developed country that does not have these social structures, these social policies in place. It is amazing to me. And then we sit here and say it's not possible or it can't be done. How do we know it can't be done? Have we actually looked? Have we taken the time to examine? Has our leadership really done that? And I would beg to say not, if you think about what is actually influencing our leadership, what is influencing them are profits, who has their ear are corporations through the amount of money that is funneled into their campaigns, the lobbyists that are used to push different agendas and policies and legislation. All of that is what is basically, I feel like, has the shackles, although they wouldn't think of it as shackles since it's just making them acquire more wealth. But it is influencing their ability to explore different ways of applying leadership in this country that's not influenced by profits, but is truly influenced through a democracy of the people, through the people, where people push and drive legislation with leadership, working in tandem with one another, rather than us as the people sort of being dictated to in the oligarchy that we live in right now, because the ear of leadership is all of these external sources that are making a lot of money based on those decisions. And it is running rampant right now in this administration. And I don't think we will really know the effect of these past 4 years. I mean, we can already see some of the things that are happening, but if it's not impacting you directly right now, you might be like, oh, everything's fine, like nothing's happening. But I will not be surprised if 10 years, 15 years down the road, we look back at this administration, at some of the issues and the crises that we will be facing in the future, and be able to pinpoint it to this time right now. And we have an opportunity to change the trajectory. We have an opportunity to change the trajectory from where we are now backsliding to this old style of politics and fascism and supremacy gone out of control right now. We have an opportunity to turn that around and have real progress, real progressive change. And right now is the time. It is critical, it is crucial to engage this moment right now. And that is why I support Bernie Sanders so much. If he is talking about democratic socialism and his metaphor is Denmark, Finland, Sweden, who have a structure of social democracy, I am for that. I am for that. I think about my family who lives in Germany. Germany is a capitalist, free market society that is the same as we are, but they have a lot of social policy in place. That is what we're talking about here, is that we are creating a foundation of equity and equality for all people, and that is so important, especially when our impact and our influence on the rest of the world. I mean, when I call and I talk with my family and I hear the voices of people who are looking at America, they are watching us. They're watching us, and right now it looks like we're in the middle of a sitcom or some like this is television at its finest is what it looks like, and that's not, I mean, I'm sorry to say, but I'd like us to be like super boring, like where what was happening here is there's more peace, there's more harmony, there's more balance, there's not all this sensationalism and all this noise, right? Like I would rather us be the example of what is possible, rather than us being an example of what looks crazy or what not to do, or what looks nonsensical. It's we don't deserve to be the butt of a joke anymore, because our lives are not a joke. Our lives matter, and we need to be operating and seeking every opportunity where that is the main focal point, where our citizens are our priority, where the protection and the support of our communities throughout America are supported, where there's true opportunity for every person. So I hope that with what I've had to share here might help ease some of your minds out there when you're hearing all of this fear-mongering speech around socialism and the narrative that's being created about it, or being in the fear of these authoritarian styles of governing. We don't have that here. That's not what we're starting with. We have a capitalist free market society that is the heart of what America is. I don't see that going anywhere. And to say that instilling social policy is going to take away our freedoms, that's not true. If you look at these other developed countries who have put these different social policies that I'm talking about when we're talking about the Green New Deal, who have put many of these things in place already and are thriving. Their communities are thriving. Their people have even more freedom. They have more longevity. They have a better, quality of health. It's amazing. It's amazing. And we deserve that. Our families deserve that. Our friends deserve that. Our communities deserve opportunity, true opportunity. The real American dream, not the illusion of the American dream anymore. And the more we continue to protect or defend the old style of politics that has not been working, and again, we can see that it hasn't been working in the fact that the wealth of this country is saturated in the top 1%. And that's really hard to imagine. It's really hard to imagine what that looks like. So when you hear that, it's just like, for a lot of people, it's like, oh, yeah, 1%, 99%, whatever. It's like it's like a buzzword, it's a term. But if you actually think about what that means, where the majority of wealth is saturated in 1%, and we, who are part of the 99%, think we have upward mobility and true opportunity in this country, that is delusional. That's delusion. That is an illusion that they have painted. That is the illusion of a dream that does not exist. And we can see that it's not working because of that saturation. We can see that it's not working when people's livelihoods, when people are going bankrupt because they don't have health insurance, or they have health insurance, but they can't get the coverage that they need when they're dealing with the health crisis. And so they've got to put everything on their credit cards, for crying out loud, on their credit cards, or taking out loans against their homes so that they can actually live. And that's if they actually get to live, right? People shouldn't have to worry about the stress of finances on top of the fact that their bodies are breaking down and they need to focus all of their energy on healing. Education. People should have access to education, quality education. We in America talk about innovation a lot. How are we going to have a country with innovators if they don't have access to education and to explore knowledge and learning and it being accessible to them? We can't. We will not. It's not possible. Those things have to change. Those are the things that are not working. And the old style of government and politics has been protecting this distortion, this dysfunction. It has been protecting it. And we cannot protect it anymore. And we cannot sit here and be silent and not engage anymore. That's what I love about Bernie Sanders, is he talks about, this is not me, it is us. He has said over and over and over again, look, I am one person. I can't do anything without the help of the people, the help of all of his constituents, the help of his colleagues, all those who are sitting in leadership right now. And I guarantee you, as I know myself, and as I know the people around me, what we want is to be able to operate in the world in our integrity. And I think all those people in leadership who have to sit there operating in this old structure, in this defunct culture, they want an opportunity to be able to work in integrity with their values and with the values of the American people and not be beholden to money. They're just not aware of that yet, right? But I know, just as I know the people around me and the work that they do every day in their lives and the people who they support want to be able to show up in their full integrity. That is not happening. That's not happening right now. And that needs to change. And that's why I love the message of Bernie Sanders. I love looking at his 40-year career and seeing how he's always stood in alignment with those values. He has always been a voice of equity and equality for all people. He has been working towards legislation and policy in that way. He has been working across party lines with people to promote these ideas and put structures in place. And we have this one opportunity now. We had it in 2016. It was taken away from us. We have somehow been given it back as more people are becoming aware of the situation. When we look at this current administration and what is happening in this country, people think our economy is getting stronger. It is an illusion. It is getting stronger right now because if you think about how business works, it is short returns. It is quick returns on your money, right? And then if things start to spiral out of control, just file bankruptcy, start from scratch again. We got to get these quick returns. That is how we are dealing with government in today's world. We're thinking about it like business, and we're treating lives like they're short term when it's about longevity. And the kind of change we need needs to be about longevity. Longevity for our country, longevity for our citizens, longevity for our governing body, who, again, we have so much impact and influence on the rest of the world. It is critical what we do here. It's so critical, and we have the most potential. So I hope you've liked this video, and if you want more content like this, please hit like or subscribe. Feel free to share, and most of all, engage this conversation, engage this time right now, because truly we have the power. It doesn't matter where you stand. Republican, independent, libertarian, my Green Partiers out there, Democrats, all of us out there, this is a space for all of us, and we need to come to the table, and we need to be working towards effective change that is going to create a foundation for this country, for its citizens, where we have real opportunity in this world, because we have so much potential to do so many great things, not only in this country, but in this world. And we have this opportunity right now to engage as best we can right now to set the course of change that really embodies who we are. Because I tell you, the hatred, the isolation, the separation, the judgment, the violence, all that stuff that's happening right now does not represent who we are. I know that to the core of who I am. The people who I love, who are in my life, who are around me, in my community, does not represent that. And that has to change. We need change. And I believe that Bernie Sanders is the one voice out there who has built the level of trust that we can choose to move into leadership with that same vision and intent to create that same vision that we want for ourselves, for our families, for the people in our lives. So, engage with respect, be in integrity with your words, have a conversation, reach out to the people around you, connect with your community, get involved. It's important. This is an important time right now. Have a good day. See you in the next video. Bye.